أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Last week we began the tafsir, the commentary on the verse, the Surah Ma'un. We covered the first three verses. رَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ talks about the person who he rejects, even once he knows that the deen is the truth, but he rejects, he denies it. So the word يُكَذِّب means مُكَذِّب is a person who knows, but even despite him knowing, he denies. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ. Then it talks about the second and third verses. It talks about the crimes against the creation, the people that do not fulfill the rights of the orphan, and they do not even give the orphan the food, the poor people the food that belongs to them. And then the verse number 4, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, where we stopped, and continue from here. Now it seems like the entire context of the surah has changed. Now it begins to talk about فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, destruction be for those performers of salah. So many commentators have said the first three verses talking about they were revealed in the Makkah period, and they were talking about the non-Muslims. And فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, from here it talks about the munafiqeen, and those people who perform salah and they are lazy, and we'll talk about this later on. What kind of salah they perform. Obviously, so if this is talking about the munafiqeen, then at the time in the Makkah period there were no hypocrites, there were no munafiqeen. The problem with the munafiqeen happened when in Medina, when Islam started to flourish. So the commentators, they say from Fawailul lil Musallin, one opinion is that this is talking about the munafiqeen. Hence these verses from Fawailul lil Musallin onwards, they are Madni ayat, and they were revealed in Medina. So we'll take a look at this. Fawailul lil Musallin, destruction. Fawail means, and complete destruction is a very harsh term which has been used. In other place in the Quran, the same wail has been used and refers to wailul lil mutaffifin, to people that do fraud in their business, that cheat their customers. Wailun yawma idhil lil mukaththibin. In one place it's been attached wailun yawma idhil lil mukaththibin. So it's a very harsh term, complete destruction. And here no time has been attached, that these people they are in destruction at this moment in time. Immediately now they are in a state of destruction. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, that those who pray. So when a person he reads this, then in the next verse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, those who neglect to perform their salah, roughly translated. But the salah has been mentioned twice, and this verse has been broken down. It's been split into two verses. Even though you could have made this one verse and said فَوَيْلٌ لِلَّذِينَ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, for example, but it's been stopped. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, and the verse finishes, and الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, and another verse. Surah has been mentioned twice. So what is the benefit of doing this? Why فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ? Any person who reads this and reads destruction be to those performers of salah. Now every person who performs salah, he will think to himself, when a person who ponders upon the verse of the Quran, who is Allah addressing here? Who are those performers of salah to whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying destruction be for them? So every person is alerted, and he thinks, he takes a look, what type of salah, what type of musallin, what type of performers of salah are they, that they are, Allah is saying regarding to them, destruction, they are being cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, and lil musallin, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings them, in the word is mentioned in plural, lil musallin. So you mentioned, like you look before, فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي is talking about an individual. رَأَيْتَ الَّذِي, have you seen the one? فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي is brought in the singular form. Here, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ is brought in the plural, that those who perform salah with a group of people publicly, not individually. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. So these are the performers of salah. They perform salah in front of people. And who are these musallin? الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. They are those who neglect to perform their salah. So what is the connection between these verses and the verses that I mentioned just before? فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمَ وَلَا يَحْضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. A person who fails to fulfill the right of the creation, he will also fail, this is the commentator mentioned, he will also fail to fulfill the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a person who fails to fulfill the rights of the creation, he will also fail to fulfill the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the quality of salah is mentioned in the Quran, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ. Verily salah protects a person, he stops a person from doing shameful and evil acts. So if a person is not stopping himself from doing shameful and evil acts, then this salah is not salah as well. الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. And those regarding their salah, they are neglectful. What does sahw mean? Sahw means that you have example, you've planned your day out, you want to go somewhere, you have a list of things to do, you've included all your things to do, but salah is not there. Salah is not one of them. You have not given salah the importance that it deserves. You have not made it a priority. So you make other things a priority, and then you don't give that priority to salah. So this is included in the meaning of sahw. So for الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. So the other opinion is that this فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ is not talking just about the munafiqeen, but it's talking about the kuffar. In general, includes everyone, but it also includes the people of Makkah, the kuffar of Makkah. Why? Because before Islam came, many words in Arabic salah had its own unique meaning. Before Islam came, it also meant a form of praying. But after Islam came, Islam gave the word salah a unique meaning. That salah, when we say the word salah now, it refers to a particular form of ibadah, particular form of worship. But the leaders of Quraysh, the non-Muslims at the time, they would also perform their type of salah prior to the advent of Islam. Now this we hear when Ibrahim alayhi salam was given prophethood and he propagated to his people, he made this dua, Rabbana inni askantu min dhurriyyati biwadin ghayri dhi zar', and he includes Rabbana liyuqimu salat, so that these people, they established salah. So salah had always been there, but as time passed, the people, they twisted the salah, and the salah lost its original form, and the salah started to become for people of things, objects besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then sincerity was lost, and the salah was lost as well. So فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ, according to some other commentators, includes that if you include in just the original meaning before the advent of Islam, it also includes the people that used to perform. It includes all people that perform all types of salah. Any type of praying is included. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Like I mentioned just now, sahun. So literally sahun, it means to forget something out of neglectfulness because something of a greater thought to you was on your mind. Or it also includes if you make plans to do something while not worrying about salah in the process. So this is sahw as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions regarding these people that do not give priority to salah, that do not care about the salah, they are neglectful of the salah, فَوَيْلٌ لَهُمْ, that destruction be to those people. So Salah, again, many times in the Quran, many times in Hadith, so much emphasis has been brought upon Salah. Not only in the Quran, if you look at the sayings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this topic, this discussion of Salah is mentioned so many times because it has such a high importance in Islam. The very famous hadith that we often hear, Bunya al-Islamu ala khams. The Islam has been built upon 5 pillars. Shahadati Allah ilaha illallah. Number 1, to have faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then after this, wa iqam salah. Then to establish salah. Even if you take a look in Surah Taha, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions when Musa alayhi salam was traveling, and he has the opportunity to speak with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first? He introduces himself. Innani ana Allah, la ilaha illa ana fa'budini. I am Allah, there is none worthy of worship besides me. Fa'budni, worship me. Wa aqimi salata li dhikri. And establish salah for my remembrance. So even this is something, when a person, he meets someone of a high status, he meets someone very famous, whatever that person will say to him, he will remember and he will constantly talk about. Similarly, when Musa alayhi salam, he has this opportunity to converse with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what has he been told? وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِ. Establish salah. Another place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions, إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Say indeed that verily my prayer, my salah, وَنُسُكِي, my rites of sacrifice, وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي, my living and my death is for Allah, the Rabb al-Alameen, the Lord of the worlds. So even here in this verse, inna salati, even though life and death has been mentioned, which are very great things, to give your life, to give, but salah has been mentioned before both of these two things. Before wa mahya, before my life and before my death, salah has been mentioned. Salah holds such an important rank. So many verses in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned salah. So, but here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He has cursed these people, destruction for those performers of salah, الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, who are neglectful of the salah. So in the commentary of this, عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, commentators, they've mentioned what falls under عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. What type of performance of salah fall under this category of sahun? So Shawkani, he mentions that those people who perform salah at some times and other times they do not perform salah, they come under this category of sahun. So you pray sometimes and you don't pray sometimes. This is also under the category of sahun. Then he goes on to mention a person who doesn't fulfill the prerequisites, the conditions of salah, then he also falls under this. Then he mentions a person who performs salah, like he doesn't perform his ruku properly. An example is given in the hadith. This is mentioned, like when a bird, it pecks away at the ground, it moves very fast. The motion is very quick. Like, so some people, when they perform the salah, the ruku is done so fast and the sujood is done so fast, the prostrating is done so fast, they just barely touch the ground and immediately they raise themselves up. So they do not perform salah in the correct manner. So all of these come under the category of sahun. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions regarding the time of salah, Inna salata kanat ala al-mu'minina kitaban mawquta. Salah has been fixed at its prescribed times. So some Sahaba have mentioned in the commentary that those people who delay the salah from its prescribed time and delay to the end time and just barely perform salah at the end time, they also fall under the category of sahun. Even in Tafseer ibn Kathir, a few hadiths have been narrated in regards to this. A person, he performs salah very quick and he doesn't adhere to the ruku properly and he doesn't perform the sujood properly, then this has also been mentioned under an salatihim sahun, and this has been referred to the salah of the munafiq, the salah of the hypocrite. That Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that tilka salatul munafiq, tilka salatul munafiq, تلك صلاة المنافق يجلس يرقب الشمس حتى إذا كانت بين قرني الشيطان قام فنقر أربعا لا يذكر الله فيها إلا قليلا. Roughly translated, that person, he stands up and he waits till the end time of salah and he quickly performs this 4 ruku and quickly performs the rakat and just pecks away like in his sajda, like a bird, he pecks away at the pebbles or food that is on the ground. Then after this, this was الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. This was one thing that was been mentioned. Then the second attribute of these people that have been mentioned in regards to their salah, الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. Those who perform salah, يُرَاءُونَ, to show other people. To perform salah, to show other people, to show off. So in a case that, number one, these people are neglectful of the salah, they do not perform salah. They occasionally, whenever they have the time, they try to perform salah. And even on top of this, when they do perform salah, they're rarely, when they do have the opportunity to perform salah, then they do it for show. They do not do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they do it for other people. So here, even in this verse, الَّذِينَ هُمْ, even without mentioning whom, grammatically the sentence is correct. الَّذِينَ يُرَاءُونَ. But here, especially the word hum has been mentioned again to show a special emphasis that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so angry at these people. That these people, they want the attention, that the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is upon these people. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. So this gives a special emphasis that the destruction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is upon these people. So, and then the word yura'un, it comes from, the one is ra'a, yara means to see. Ra'a, yura'i, mura'atan, it comes on the pattern of the scale mufa'ala, it means when two parties struggle against each other, a person is trying really hard to be seen while praying. He's trying really hard. The mura'a, actually, literally, the word mura'a means to show yourself as righteous and pious, but the reality is that you are not this. In contrast, this is actually, in reality, you're not actually pious and righteous, but you're just showing yourself to be. This is what mura'at means. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is exposing these people. If you look at this and look at the opinion that the commentators say, that this is referring to the people of Quraysh, that because they were the custodians of the Kaaba, so people used to look at them in high regard, that these people are pious people, they perform their salah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, number one, these people are neglectful in their salah, they do not perform their salah, and even when they do, they only do it for show, because people are watching, because otherwise they'll lose their reputation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pinpointing all the flaws of these people. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. So again, for us, when we read these verses of Quran, we need to really ponder and take a look at what type of salah am I performing. Yeah, let it not be, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not make us from amongst those people on salatihim sahun, that are neglectful of their salah, and neither amongst those people who perform salah for show, for other people. So we need to make an effort on our salah. Like a person, he makes effort on his dunya, a person makes effort on his worldly things. It's like if you have a young student, he has an aspiration that he wants to become something, then he studies so hard and he puts in the effort. An example, he wants to become a doctor or something, then he has to put the effort in. He goes to school, he has to get the grades, then he goes to university, then he has to do his, after so many years, then he finally land the job. Similarly, a person in deen, we have to make an effort on the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Islam that we have, the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us to do, we make an effort to establish salah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he mentions establish salah, perform salah properly, and we make an effort to try, we start performing our salah on its prescribed time. Start with 1 or 2, and we slowly try and build up, and we make this an objective of ours, and we try to progress in this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives all ability to perform salah in the correct manner, in a manner shown to us by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then after this, again in the last verse, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ, and they refuse al-ma'un, in this one translation, even minor articles. So again, so in the middle is talking about salam. So you take a look again. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِنِي, he denies with his heart. Then in verse 2 and 3, he denies the right of the creation. Then 4, 5, and 6, he denies the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, now he's talking about he denies the right of the creation again. So Allah subhanahu, in this, we take a look, breakdown of this surah, that both of these things are linked, they're intertwined. A person who does not fulfill the rights of Allah, he will not fulfill the rights of the creation, and vice versa. A person who does not fulfill the rights of the creation, he will not fulfill the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are not two separate things. Both things are intertwined. Both things are linked together to fulfill the creation rights of Allah and also to fulfill the rights of the creation. Both things are attached. Both things are together. So وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ, and they refuse ma'un. Many Sahaba they refer to ma'un as zakah. Okay, so what does ma'un mean? It comes from the word ma'an. Ma'an is something so less that even if you lose it or if you give away, then it will not affect the person. A person will not feel a loss. Example, if a person gives away a cup of water, then it's not something that you'll feel the loss of that you'll affect you financially, or you'll feel it. You'll start thinking about it later on. Oh, I've lost a cup of water. For example, you borrow someone a pen. So minor things that are usually given to one another, and people give away, or people borrow to others. This is referred to as ma'un. Why the Sahaba used to refer to this ma'un as zakah is that because zakah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has given so much, and in return Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only wants us to give 2.5% of our zakah back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the excess wealth. That's why, because this was so less for them, they would also refer to a zakat as ma'un. So these people, and they are so cheap that even the things which are usually given, something that it will not affect a person whatsoever to give away, even these things, minor things, they refuse and they do not give away. So this shows how low these people are, and that they do not even give away these minor articles, minor things, which will have no effect on the person. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to understand this surah. So again, so two things, main things have been mentioned in the surah. Person, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ, he rejects, he denies the deen. Then after this, generally, two things have been mentioned in surah. One is to give charity, to give to the poor. Another thing is to perform salah, to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So always, if we want to take a measurement of ourselves, we take a look at how much am I giving. If you have poor relatives, if you have anyone in a family who's an orphan, if you know somebody that's an orphan or somebody that is very poor, that we try and make an effort to try and give charity, to go and try and help these people. And secondly, we try to make an effort on our salah, and this will give us somewhat of an understanding, a measurement of where our deen is at, what level am I on my deen. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to understand this surah and take lessons from this surah. Ameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.